So what we will learn today, we will learn about GitHub, like why we use GitHub. Most of the companies, what is the advantage by using GitHub, and let's discuss about that today. So GitHub let you versioning your code basically. What do you mean by versioning my code, right? For example, you have application code to deploy Macy's.com, for example, or wellsfargo.com, whatever, wellsfargo.com. Okay. And this is your application at the moment. And let's assume that you don't have this field. Okay. You don't have this field. And you want to include this field. Currently, your application has only like this tab and this tab and this tab and this tab, and you want to include another tab called corporate and investment banking. Okay. For that, you would have to implement that application with existing application, right? Correct me if I am wrong. So you need the existing application code, and you will add that extra piece of code to your existing application. Then only you will be able to test that extra piece with existing piece, right? But meantime, you don't want to touch that existing piece of code, right? Because if something goes wrong, and you would have to have that code ready to deploy it as soon as possible. Okay. So for that purpose, most of the companies, what they do, they create a separate branch. Let's talk about branch. Let's go to our automation repo. Is that automation repo? What is our repo? It's like a June something, right? Okay, let's go to one of these repositories. Let's go to, this is my repo, right? Right now, let's assume this code like serving this application. Let's assume that. Okay. And I have a master branch. This is the place where I'm deploying this code. Okay. This is the place where I'm deploying this code. Deploying in the sense, code is ready. Developers implement the code. Code is completely ready. What you are doing is you are just packaging it, and you are just deploying into the remote computers, virtual computers. That's it. Deployment. Don't take it like, okay, this is something very big. No, just to build it. Build in the sense, just zip file, tar file, archive, basically archive, tar file, zip file, and take that to the remote computer, which is virtual computer, and install it. That's it. And the post-build configurations, pre-build configurations, there are separate for each company's AMIs. AMI is nothing but like Amazon mission images, basically operating systems, you can say operating systems. Okay. And you package this code and you deploy this code to this specific website, and you have this tab, and this tab, and this tab. And now you want to implement a new feature called this tab. For example, you guys can stop me at any time if you don't understand. Okay. But what I want to do, I don't want to add the new feature, something like this, right? I don't want to add, okay, let's go and add something like okay, I can add that. I can add okay. And what is this? For example, I'm not a Node.js developer, but for example, so what is this? And let me copy this and something like this. We're not talking about Node.js, or we are talking about nothing. We're just talking about changes. Okay. And if I add something like this, okay, this file tell me to, hey Vishnu, you should add one more file. You should add this file. You should add that file. You should add, okay, I made 10 changes for 10 different files, right? let's say, for example, I made 10, 15 changes to the entire repository. Now, my application, this application is down at the moment. And I couldn't able to figure out what exactly the issue, but I need this application is up and running for the customers, right? I cannot wait until I can fix it, right? Let's say the fix will take like 15 minutes. So you don't have your application up and running for 15 minutes. So nobody can log in and nobody can make transfer money. Nobody can just, buy, purchase, stuff like that. It's not going to work, right? Your application shouldn't be down for a single second or single minute, for example. Okay, let's say, for example, your application is down for some time, and what the best thing is, you would build one more similar virtual machines, and you would deploy that application from here. This application code, basically you build this application code from here to the newly created virtual machine. So your application will be available for the end customer. Now your job is troubleshoot. Okay, let's go dig in so that I can prevent in future. Okay, now this part is good. We are there. We are good there. But how I can add new feature? Vishnu, you telling us like, okay, we completely understand. We totally understand. We are not going to touch the application code which is in master branch or which is in a production code. We don't want to touch. How I can add my piece then, right? This is the place where the versioning is coming to the picture. Okay, what you can do, you can create a new branch. Okay, you can create a new branch from existing feature branch, existing master branch or production deployment branch. And I can call anything, investments, Wells Fargo, something like that, anything. Okay, what people include, they include something like, let's say they're working on every 2 weeks and they just started, they call sprint, they create feature branch sprint 1 or sprint 21, something like that. Okay, and create a feature branch. That means this is an extra version of your code. You have your application code which is in master. Now create an extra version of code and make changes to this part, this code. You can make changes. Since it's a development, you can make any changes that you want. You can make changes to get this up and running. The corporate and investment banking is up and running. You can go ahead and make those changes. If something goes wrong here, right, I can deploy the code from master. I'm not touching master. So the master code is up to date. It is available 24/7, 365 days. It is available. Okay. And once people have this feature tested in this feature branch, what they will do, they will ask us to, like, they will create a pull request to merge those changes to the master branch, so that the master branch will have up-to-date code with an extra feature as well. Okay, that is called migration. You are migrating your code from feature branch to the master branch. For example, feature branch to the release branch, whatever the branch you are using to deploy your application code. Okay, how they can do that? You see that there is a tab called pull request. They will go there, pull request. Actually, let me make some changes to this branch so that we will see those changes. Okay, and what I'm going to do, I'm going to add an extra file. Which is so much fun. Okay. And I will add this to this feature branch. You see this feature branch, and GitHub will tell you the history. Had a recent pushes less than a minute ago. So basically GitHub will give you the commit hash. It will give you the history, like who is making what changes, the monitor. It will tell you, hey, somebody made some changes and they forgot, and after a month and they came and I didn't make those changes. I'm sorry. No, it's not going to work like that. So this will like log each and every activity, each and every commit, each and every write to these repositories. Basically, that is the one more advantage as well. So now I did make some changes. Let's assume this change is an extra feature. I have tested this feature. I've tested it in lower environments and which is working absolutely fine. Now I want to migrate this code to the master branch so that in the next deployment, they will have this up-to-date code deployed in that virtual machines with an extra feature as well. Okay. In order to do that, what I have to do, I have to go to pull requests. You see that pull request? And create a new pull request. And you see these two places. So from where to where, what version of code you are making changes to the master. You are adding an extra commit. Basically, you are adding some changes to the master. But what is your branch from where you want to make those changes, right? And where is that sprint 21? So let me go. Okay, let me go here. You see the sprint 21. Okay. And what I want you to do is I want to make changes to this actually. Okay. Sprint 21 master branch. So take changes from this feature branch because I have updated my features and add those changes to the master branch. Okay. And I can just simply create a pull request. Okay. In this pull request, right, I will add reviewers. You see that right side, reviewers. I will add my colleagues, my co-workers, co-developers, managers, all that kind of stuff. Each company has different policies. Hey, in order to migrate your code, we need at least 3 approvals. We need at least 2 approvals. We need at least 1 manager approval. Even we need 3 approvals, but one of them, at least one of them is manager's approval. We need that kind of stuff. So people add those co-workers. So what they will do, they will check this pull request like how, okay, let's go. What did he commit? What did she commit? Let's check that commits. Okay, this is the commit. This is something he changed it. Okay, that's fine. How many files are going? Like how many files did she or he changed? You see that files changed, just 1 file. And this is the only change. But if you have a 10-15 files, you will see all those changes here. Okay. Okay, everything looks good for me. Okay, it looks good. I have tested it. Okay, I can just go ahead and merge pull request. Okay. Now, if I go to my master branch, if I go to this master branch, you see this file, test.txt. This file, let's assume this code is this corporate and investment banking code. For example, let's assume like that. Okay. Now my master branch has all these changes. So what I will do, I will deploy this in an extra machine and I will test it out. If that goes well, I will deploy to the production machine. Next time, I want to implement one more feature called check-in. The same way, create a feature branch and make your changes, update that code, and release that to the production. Next time, one more. Next time, one more. Next time, one more. That's how companies deploy like a integration, application integration, like a continuously improving their application. Basically, hey, we have this feature now. Okay, now this car has autopilot mode. This car now has a 2023 brake assist, and this car now you can use gel to transfer money, or now you can buy football tickets using your Bank of America app. Those are all will be added like this. Basically, they create feature branches. They make those changes because they don't want to touch up and running existing production based code at all. Okay, does that make sense? Any questions, any doubts?
Sorry to interrupt, Vishnu. In general, the DevOps engineer do the changes to code and pull request and merge. All this were done by the developers, right? They will be giving the path. I mean the like branch name where the modified code or updated code is there, right? Or are we going to do?
So even if you don't write any application code, right? No, because let's say you might write some automation code.
Okay.
Right? Automation code to create this virtual machine, for example. Let's say we are creating a virtual machine, right, for developers so that they can deploy their code.
Okay.
Right? We are building infrastructure so they will have their applications deployed in that infrastructure, for example.
Okay.
And when you build your infrastructure, you don't do it manually because it's going to be thousands and thousands of steps. So you cannot do them manually, and which is not possible, quite tough, right?
Okay.
And you are going to miss a lot of configurations when you do it manually. So 100% of companies, they use automation scripts.
Okay.
When you will have to implement some automation scripts, and this is the approach we should follow.
Okay, got
so in order to do that, you need to know what exactly happening.
Okay.
Even let me give you a real-time example, right? And let's say you have this application code deployed into this virtual machine, for example, and the deployment failed, and it is your job to identify the issue, for example, because you are the deployment engineer, build and release engineer. When you build the code, when you try to deploy, it's failed. And you need to identify, okay, what was the change since last made, like last commit? I need to verify the changes because there are some changes that are not supposed to be there, or there are some changes the schema doesn't even update it. So I need to know what exactly going on. So what you need to do, what you would do, you could go there, you would identify the commits, you would identify most recent merged branches, you would identify the changes. Okay, hey, Mr. XYZ developer, you did commit this change, but you did not mention this variable, or you did not mention this file name there. That's why the job is failing. So you need to know how the branching strategy works, even if you don't do it, but we do it for automation scripts for sure.
Okay. Yeah.
Any other questions from anybody?
So Vishnu, while we are checking those automation thing you said, right? So we can update to the developer. That's what you are saying. We can say to developers that here the variable is missing, like that. We are telling.
No. So when we build, remember when we build using Maven, right? In the Jenkins, Maven build, remember? So Maven build, Maven test, Maven package, right? Let's say the build is failed. Where did we build that artifacts on palm.xml, right? For example, they missed application version number in the pom.xml, the build failed. Okay.
Okay.
What you will do, you will compare the previous version of that pom.xml and you will compare newly merged the pom.xml. Go back and just go to that branch. What was the change? Okay. What exactly was the change? One commit ahead. Let's go to that commit. Okay, this guy made these changes. This is 2.1.1 and he still have a 2.1.1. It's supposed to 2.1.2. Hey, this file supposed to 2.1.2 because 2.1.1 already in production. You missed this application version number. That's why the job is failing. Things like that. Are you getting me, Divya?
Yes, Vishnu.
That's where we identify the issues. It's not like the automation scripts. You are the one who is writing automation script, and you should know what exactly you are trying to do. And you are co-developer. That means your co-automation engineer will follow with you, or your manager will follow with you. It doesn't have to do anything with the application development. Basically, you don't write any Java code, you don't write any Python code, or you don't write any Node.js code. Django, you don't write implement any frameworks or APIs.
No, after we identified the issue, to whom we need to tell is this is the issue like that, if for manager like that.
No. So those developers will be on the call, and you will know which team you are working with.
Okay.
So those, they will follow up with you. Hey, how was the deployment and how it went, and is there any issues? Even if they identify something, if the deployment failed or deployment was successful, but they couldn't able to access the application, right? They will reach out to you. Hey, we are getting this issue. We are getting this issue, and you would troubleshoot based on the frequent deployment and based on the changes that recently made and all that kind of stuff. And you should know how you're going to get previous changes, right? That's why you should know all these things.
Okay. And lower environments means what, Vishnu? Is this Linux and Windows? That is you are talking lower environments?
So, let's say this application deployed in main environment, which is production, so that I can go here, log in, all that kind of stuff, right? And I cannot do that. The Wells Fargo company cannot do it just like that. They will have to test it multiple times to make sure this application is working before they deploy this application to the end customer, which is me. Right? Let's say this is one EC2 instance. They deployed it. And now I can access this Wells Fargo application. Before this step, they will create 4 or 5 EC2 instances. They will test it 4 or 5 times. And if that work, then only they will deploy here for the end customer. Those 4 or 5 times testing is a lower environment. Okay.
So that maybe it's a company's web, means their what we can call, I don't know.
Yeah. So let's say this is the production. This is your environment, for example. Okay. This is your production environment. Okay. Production environment. This is where your applications are up and running. Okay. This is end customer, which is us, whoever is accessing that application. And this is your GitHub. Okay. And this is where the developers come into the picture. Okay. And they implement this code. They add all features to log in, put username, password, transfer, track everything. They did implement this code. This code won't go directly to this production because this code has to be tested. Like I said yesterday, what I would do, I would just include my credentials instead of just Bezos credentials. And whenever people is putting money, that can go to my account and I don't have to work, right? It's not going to happen. So what the companies do, this is the production environment, right? They will create very identical environment right before deploy this code to the production. Then what they will do, they will test here. This code will go here first and will be tested with QA, with like a functional testing, everything will be tested. Then one more time, they will test multiple times. One more time will be tested again. Okay. Why 2 times, Vishnu? Why? What is the problem? Why 2 times, Vishnu? Come on, right? Tested.
Yes.
Because let's say this code is just in development, right? Remember, when you create a cloud formation stack, you are going to create that cloud formation stack in one attempt, no, right? The stack is going to fail sometimes, and you are going to update it, and again you are going to run it, but the stack is going to fail sometimes, right? So like that, there is got to be some bugs, or there is got to be a developer thinks that this will work in that environment, but it won't. Those issues will be identified here. Small issues will be identified here. And the necessary feature branches, all those kind of bug fix branches are being created, and they get it fixed. And still, one more time, they would want to test it, because that's how they're getting revenue, right? Online shopping, like that's how it's very, very sensitive applications, right? And they'll test one more time here. Then if they think this is okay, this pass 100% test cases, then only they will deploy to here. Okay. Even what they will do, they will create a very identical environment to the production. One more time, they will call as a blue-green deployments. Remember, let's say this is a blue. They call this environment and they deploy the code here from here. And if this works, they will route this traffic to the end customer, which is us. They will wait. They will leave this like that only. They don't touch it. They will wait for a month or 6 weeks or week, 2 weeks. If they think, okay, this is working fine, then they will terminate this environment. That's how the code will be going into the production, basically. Are we good?
Yes, Vishnu. Thank you.
Questions, Geeta? I'm expecting bunch of questions from you.
I'm fine.
Okay. No questions?
I have a question.
Oh yeah, okay. Go ahead.
As a DevOps engineer, do you help with the solutions or just finding the problem?
No. So we do find a problem and we do find a solution as well.
Okay.
Okay.
I was just asking about that.
Yeah. So let's say when we are talking about the migration of this code to all the way to production, right? We would have to identify what is the best approach and what is less complex.
Okay.
Which will take less time, and it's a team. It's like a team, like a 20, 50 people or 100 people. It's a big organizations, right? Companies, they have a bunch of people to do that, not just you, not just me. And we'll be given a piece. Okay, this is the best approach. Can you do this? Can you do that? Can you do this in this period of time? So they will divide work like that. But so you will be working closely with the developers so that you will understand what they're trying to do, and the building and the deploying. That's it. It is simple and straightforward work. Build, and deploy. Simple, pretty simple, straightforward. But nowadays, what exactly came into the picture is, you see that this piece, this environment piece, people are expecting automation. So you would have to write automation scripts to build these environments as well. Okay.
Okay, yeah, I understand.
Vishnu, I have a question. Where does the database will come in this environment?
Each environment database should be there.
Okay.
Okay.
Mhm.
Each environment dummy database, like a dummy. Let's say you need to have 1 million records to test your application, right? For example, you are expecting 1 million users. You need to have 1 million records,
Okay.
right? For example,
Mhm.
and what they will do, they will create a database with 1 million records here. They will
Okay.
test it. Okay.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
the same, they will test it with this database
Again, 2 times. Yeah.
2 times. But the production, they will have a different database. It's a real, right?
Yes.
And they will test it.
Vishnu, I have a doubt. Like we have different environments, right? Production and development and test, pre-production. So all the cycle will take place in which environment? Like when doing the production or when doing the development?
So what the process it works is, they build and deploy to one environment called, let's say, dev. Okay, development. Then if that goes well, after deployment, QA will jump in and they will test it. And if the things like each and every Jira test case is passed, and they deploy the same app, same application into pre-prod. Okay. If that goes well, and they deploy the same application into production. So this is the process. What exactly your question was? Actually, I kind of lost it. Hello?
Yes, Vishnu. I just have this doubt. Like the same which you explained, right? You explained the cycle, right? From development to pre-prod to pro.
Mhm.
So I just have a doubt in between. I just thought that this process will entirely take place only in prod. So you said it will take place from development to production, right? So now it is clear.
Okay. So
I thought only when once everything is done, only while doing production we use this process. I thought so.
no. They will test in lower environment. This prod, not prod. This dev and a pre-prod, these are called lower environments basically. You will be testing 2 to 3 places before you deploy to the production. Okay.
Yeah.
Any questions from anybody?
So how much knowledge of like developing or code do you need for talking with like developers? Because you need to know a lot of like actual knowledge, right?
So I wouldn't think you would have to have APIs knowledge, like actual, like a frameworks implementation knowledge,
Okay.
but you should know operations knowledge, like a git push, git commit, git merge, how to create a branch, how to check out a code, all these kind of
Okay.
operations you should know basically. Okay, and you should know automation experience, and we will have a classes for that, so you will get there. So don't worry about any like automation or any
So you're not gonna be I'm not gonna be writing any like algorithms, right?
no algorithms. We don't write any
Oh,
algorithms.
okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah. Any questions from anybody? If you want to write algorithm, you can write and you can make like a $300,000 a year or $350,000, $400,000 a year. If you sit like a 16 to 20 hours on a computer, you could do that. Any questions from anybody?
So does this process in a sprint cycle, like usually 2 week sprint cycle, everybody follows, right? Every sprint cycle, the production goes, or like how it will go?
So, sorry, I was going to do one thing. So, give me 1 second.